The more natural foods you eat, the better off you'll be in the long run, and you'll be able to keep off the weight you lose. For more about your health, visit us at familyhealthcheckup.org.
Who helps a hero? Who tells the story of their scars? Our freedom is defended by the sacrifices of a courageous few. Who helps a hero? We all do. The Gary Sinise Foundation serves America's defenders through entertainment, the construction of smart homes for our wounded, and by encouraging others to support the veterans within their communities. We enjoy the benefits of their sacrifice and service each day. It's time we serve them. Find out how you can help at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
The official radio station of Super Bowl 56. Powered by Pepsi. WGSX Nathan 104.3. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Second international goal for Anthony Robinson, both in World Cup qualifiers.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
And the breakthrough for the US.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Rib Crib Radio Room. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Adam Goff, and our Fan for Fan Friday today, Corey. And the Corey stands for, or it doesn't stand for it, but your nickname in the system, Corey O-H. All right, man. So, hope everybody is doing well out today on this Friday. The temperature just straight dipping on us today, man. I might look like I'm in a life vest, but this is just keeping me warm today. I want to remind everybody that we're going to have a wind advisory in effect from 6 p.m. our time, Central Standard Time, until 8 a.m. tomorrow. So make sure that you're out there, bundle up, and tie everything down in your yard if you feel like it might just float away. We're on the radio, 104.3 FM, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our TV partner, Blab TV. Make sure that you like and share the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, download the new app, and register 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to be playing trivia today. It's brought to you by Merchant Management Group. Give them a call if you'd like to eliminate your credit card processing fees, 850-747-0664. They're located right here in downtown Panama City. Which Hall of Fame quarterback has the most losses in the NFL playoffs? We started the week off this Monday asking you guys how many losses Aaron Rodgers had in the playoffs. He's got a record of 11-10. You would think with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, your record would be just a little bit higher when it came to marquee games like that.
Yeah, if you're not paying attention, that's definitely the case.
No doubt. So, which Hall of Fame quarterback has the most losses? NFL playoffs. You can listen to us, ESPN Northwest Florida on 104.3 or on the ESPN app. Joel Embiid is going to be paying Jose Alvarado's $2,000 fine after a altercation that they had after a jump ball the other day. And this is just a cool story to me. Embiid has, came on as an MVP, maybe not a front runner this year, but he was up there with Jokic last year, and he's due to make 31.6. He's got one of those big salaries. Alvarado is a guy that makes about $476,000 for a year. So the fine was $2,000, but Embiid came out and said, I just love how the dude was tough. And even after he got teched up, he was still coming at me. And these guys are pretty difference in size comparison, right?
Absolutely.
Jose Alvarado's a guard, and Joel Embiid a big dude. So
it was before your time, but it reminds me of when Kevin Johnson went after Shaquille O'Neal. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't
Phoenix
remember
Suns
that.
And the Lakers, and yeah, that was crazy. It was like watching little Kevin Johnson, about all 5'11" of him, go after him, and I was like, yeah, I want to see this in the ring. Let's do this.
No doubt, man. Jake Paul, or YouTube boxing before YouTube boxing was such a thing. It reminds me of the MTV celebrity death matches back in the day.
Right.
Those things were hilarious.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Josh McCown's getting his second interview with the Texans. Well, I know that franchise right now is kind of in shambles. Is that the way that you want to go? I mean, he was a journeyman as a quarterback in the league. Corey, what do you think? You think Josh McCown could be a good leader for the Houston Texans?
Given that he was a quarterback, they always look at that. But I think the Texans have a lot more problems that they need to look at. Head coach obviously is one, but, I mean, they have, like I said, so much else going on. I think he'd be a good coach for them. I think, he's Has he played for him?
Yeah,
Is that
I
what the
do
team
believe.
said?
I do believe that. I mean, there's been like 10 teams.
Maybe
I feel like Josh
2 teams
McCown
he
was
didn't
on.
play for.
Yeah, exactly. I think there
But-
was probably a lesser amount of teams that he didn't play for than what he did. Corey, why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners and tell them how you made it down here to Panama City and what you do here in Panama City.
All right. My name's Corey Beganis, and I actually work for Ascension. I actually work right down the road. I pass this place every day. I obviously listen to sports, 24/7. I'm actually from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I moved down to Florida about 6 years ago, and yeah, and now I'm here.
Nice, man. That is some good stuff. And who are your teams across the board?
All right, we got. I'm not really big on hockey or baseball, but I support the Pittsburgh teams. Obviously the Steelers, and I do switch it up because when I was a kid, Pitt was terrible.
Oh, okay.
And I loved Eddie George. And now I'm an Ohio State fan.
So that's how you got
Die hard
All
Ohio
right.
State fan.
All right.
I'm with you
So,
on the Eddie
you
George
know,
situation.
I even got the little for the
Okay.
there you
The
go.
and if you
you
can't
got to
see,
get
you
the
gotta
in there.
get
You
the.
can't just be like, oh, I'm an Ohio State fan. I am the Ohio State fan.
All right.
I
You
love
have
it.
to make sure you put all that in there. And
Corey O.H.,
You-
ladies and gentlemen.
We got Coach O's on the line.
Oh, let's go. Coach Olds, tell me which Hall of Fame quarterback has the most losses in the NFL playoffs?
One of the best quarterbacks ever, Peyton Manning.
Yes, sir. Coach Olds, have you won in the last 30 days?
No, it's been about 45 days.
45 days. All right, do me a favor, Coach. Shoot me a text over to, you know the drill. Shoot me a text and I'll get you
Yeah.
taken care of.
All right, thank you so much.
Absolutely. We appreciate the call. Let's keep those lines rolling. So Josh McCown getting his second interview with the Texans. Did you give us your thoughts on that, Adam?
No, and the guy's paid his dues in terms of playing. I mean, he's always been one of those guys that even after he set out for a year or two, they're calling him to come in. So I think he can have the respect of the locker room and the respect of the players because of what he's been able to do in his career. And I mean, we've seen it before where players get into coaching roles and they can really, really excel just because they have that connection. We've seen it more with baseball here lately, but I mean, who's to say it can't work in football?
I think the main thing that the Texans need to focus on is getting somebody in who can either make a move for another quarterback or make a deal happen or, get the general manager on page to make something happen with Deshaun Watson or find a head coach that Deshaun Watson would play for in Houston. But I just think that the separation between Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans right now is so far apart, and it's going to be hard to keep a guy like that there in Houston.
Well, here's a question. Like, the big rift between ownership and Deshaun Watson last year was that he wasn't involved in the coaching hire, right? So I'd be curious to see if he's
Do
involved.
they let him in?
Right. Is he involved in this at all?
I mean,
Or-
that's a good thought or a good question, but then I come to thinking about the relationship that Deshaun Watson and Nick Caserio have, and it wasn't a good one.
Right.
I don't know too many of the details going along with it, but obviously, as soon as Caserio started coming in, that's when some of those.
Right. But could this be used as like an olive branch?
Why couldn't if you?
I mean, you
want
have a
to-
talent like
if you-
Deshaun Watson. If all the legal issues are put behind you, no matter how that transpires, I mean, is this a way that you could possibly keep him in the fold?
I
don't
think
know.
that this is a great opportunity for you to be able to put water under the bridge. But will it happen? I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen.
Pride plays a big role.
Well, 100%. 100%. And when you're a quarterback in the league like that, sometimes it's kind of hard to put that pride aside and not focus on your ego as much. The U.S. men's national team last night taking down El Salvador in a crucial World Cup qualifying match. They get the win 1-0, and now they're one step closer to nailing their spot down to get into the World Cup. So go ahead and play that for me, Adam.
Goal for Anthony Robinson, both in World Cup qualifiers, and the breakthrough for the US.
All right. So with that right there, that's Anthony Robinson getting his goal in in the World Cup qualifying match last night, and that was the lone goal. And they're one step closer now to being in the World Cup. So they've got 3 matches in this next window. They just took down El Salvador, so they've got 2 left. They've got Canada and Honduras. If they win both of those, they're in the World Cup. This is good news for the state of soccer in the United States. And that's really what I'm worried about more than anything, is growing the popularity of this sport. So if 3rd place Mexico or 4th place Panama loses all 3 of their matches, United States is in. Or if 5th place Costa Rica gets 5 points or fewer, United States is in. 6th place Jamaica, 7 points or fewer, and the United States will be in the World Cup, which they missed the last time. So this is huge in the progression of this sport here.
Right, and it's nice that there's that many different options available to this team, right? It's not just we've got to win all 3 and we're in. It's, hey, we if we fall short in one of these upcoming matches, there's still an avenue for us to get in. Do you know where these next 2 matches are going to be played?
I would have to look that up.
Okay.
I would have to look that up.
Because if it's up here and it's in the cold, I think we have an advantage.
I know that the game last night was very frigid temperatures being played in that game last night. Here's one from our producer, from a guy who produces a lot of our commercials here. John Wilson came in today and he said this. We were talking about FIFA. We were talking about just video games in general. And he was asking me what I thought on this. Does playing Madden give you the wherewithal or the positioning to be a youth football coach? Do you think that you could be a youth football coach just based on learning the game from a video game in Madden? What do you think, Corey?
I play a lot of Madden, and I think I could be an offensive coordinator in the NFL. So, we call our own plays. I mean, if you understand the game, but I mean, with youth football, I think it's not as much as knowing the game. Are you a good leader for your team?
Right.
Are you able to cultivate those kids and teach them the game? Just the basics. I mean, you don't have to be, Matt Canada or something, Steeler reference, I know. You don't have to go 5 wide all the time. Can you teach these kids the basics of the game?
What are you thinking over there, Adam?
I think it depends on how much you can actually take in and actually put to practice, right? I mean, we've all seen that the playbooks that are out there, right? I mean, obviously it's a video game, but I mean, it's all based off of things that real playbooks and things that are being utilized in the NFL. And I mean, if you're able to kind of break those things down and actually have a game plan, then I mean, who knows? I mean, you got to start somewhere as a coach, right? And if you're talking youth sports, then I think you can probably translate that a lot better to a younger generation that is probably playing the same game that you are, and say, okay, well, here's how they did it on Madden. Here's how we're going to do it. Can you relate to that? Can you understand that? And who knows? I mean, like I said, it's all in black and white right there for you. So, I mean, it could be a possibility. I'm not going to say it's absolutely 100% not.
Mm-hmm. I think that the biggest thing in teaching youth sports, going back to exactly what Corey said, is you've first you got to have the patience, right? Because they're not going to pick it up as quickly as maybe what you want them to. And 2, the most crucial thing in any sport is fundamentals. And if you're not teaching them the fundamentals of the game and you're just skipping straight over that and going into, all right, we're going to have this dynamic offense, and then I think that you'll get lost in the sauce with that. But if you teach them the fundamentals, yes, absolutely, you can use Madden in a sense of, if you don't know some of the terminology, Madden, you can get into the Gatorade skills trainer or whatever, and you can learn a plethora of information on how the game is called and what, if a guy's in man, what kind of route is the best route for you to beat man, which is going to be dragging underneath, right? Anything with a lot of movement is going to take care of man most of the time. So you can learn a lot from Madden. Here's another thing that I just thought of, though, right? Because these kids are probably playing Madden too. So now you take your custom playbook. You got your custom playbook, and then you install. You say, all right, kids, you if they don't know how to do it, you get their dad to do it or their mom to do it. or their older brother, and they download those custom playbooks, and now everybody's using the same playbook. So you could, I mean, I think that this is better for a little bit higher than youth football, you know what I mean? Go middle school, go high school, but you could really do some damage with everybody utilizing the same playbook. And then what does that help these kids do? Memorize what's going on with the playbook, because if all 11 players on offense know what all 11 positions have to do, you're just in a better game plan, and the whole team can keep each other accountable.
Right, and it'd be great because, like you said, you don't have to officially name all these plays, like John Gruden's spider wide to banana, right? So I mean, like you can call it, okay, well this is XZ cross or whatever, and then they can take that playbook and have it on Madden, and then they can play that over and over and over again until it's fully ingrained, especially if it's a young quarterback, and they can see, okay, well, I know my wide receiver is going to be cutting in, my Z receiver is going to be doing an out, whatever it is. So, yeah, I think it could work.
I definitely think it could work, man. And going back to my days in Pee Wee football, I really do feel like that's what my coach was doing, because he would always be, I'm 52, and this is back in, the early 2000s. I'm 52-0 on Madden Online. I play one game a night. I'd beat all of y'all at Madden. And like, okay, I wish I could remember my coach's day from back in the Dixie Rebels days.
Well, the thing is, too, is that, when we all, I'm in my mid-30s, so when you're playing football as a kid, what's the main play? You're running the ball.
Yeah.
But now everyone sees Madden, the NFL. Like, oh, yeah, we'll just spread it around and throw it. So using Madden as a bridge, like you said, to just pound those plays in their head, you never know.
You never know. It could work. It could work. So if you're wanting to do some Pee Wee football coaching or some youth football coaching, go get you a copy of Madden 22. Madden, I'll take a copy myself if you want to send it down this way for the new Xbox. All right, thanks so much. We're going to take a short time out. When we get back, we'll be on the phone with Dan Lust, who's a sports attorney heard across ESPN, CBS, and Fox Sports, also a sports law professor. We'll be right back. Stick with us.
Weather forecast overnight. This weather front passing through the region will start to move out, I would say, late at night. And the overnight temperature by morning, upper 20s and low 30s. You'll feel colder with that northwest wind up to 20. Northwest wind up to 20 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny, 45 to 50 only. 55 to 60 Sunday, mostly sunny. This weather forecast has been brought to you by All About Garage Doors, your garage door repair specialist. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
It's here. The 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app version 2.0. Now featuring ultra high fidelity. You'll feel like you're in the game. Plus more opportunities to win weekly prizes from local businesses when you click it to win it. Download the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app today at Google Play or the Apple Store.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida are proud members of the Panama City Beach Chamber. We'd like to welcome the newest members to the Beach Chamber.
Chartwell's K-12, Clicks to Clients, Deborah Eldridge, Business Consultant, Harris Bond Me PCB LLC, Remax Freedom, and Sola Coffee Bar.
Congratulations from the area's only sports radio station, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you or someone you love struggling with an addiction to drugs or alcohol and want to be set free from the chains of addiction? Then call Addiction Helpline America right now to get the help you need. From drug and alcohol addiction to dual diagnosis treatment, we provide a confidential helpline to help people like you get sober and live happy, substance-free lives.
Treatment helped me get my life back. I was so addicted, the only person I could focus on was myself and what I needed. I hit rock bottom and lost everything. Through treatment, I was able to overcome those demons and focus on my family again.
I used until I overdosed and almost died. That was the end of the road for me. After seeking treatment, I now have hope. I learned skills that help me deal with life on life's terms.
800-470-1378. 800-470-1378. 800-470-1378. That's 800-470-1378.
The number one SEC call-in show is now twice as big. It's double the Paul Feinbaum Show. Weeknights starting at 6.
Okay, but also go faster.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. Live from the Rib Crib Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Rib Crib Radio Room. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Get out to Bay Point Golf Club January 28th tonight for Trivia Night and Taco Bar. From 5:30 to 8 p.m., swing by Bar 72 and join the fun. We'll have prizes for first, second, and third place. It is $15.95 per person. Teams of 2, 3, 4, or 5 with a taco bar and trivia prizes are included in the price. Reservations required. Call 850-235-6950, extension 4. Let's get over to the phone line now. We've got Dan Lust on us. He is the sports law attorney that you can hear, or sports attorney that you can hear on ESPN, CBS, Fox Sports. He's also a sports law professor at NY Law School and the host of the amazing, if you're not getting your sports law information from the Con Detrimental podcast, you're missing out. You need to get onto Twitter and follow Dan at Sports Law Lust. Dan, what's going on, man? Thanks so much for making some time for us this afternoon.
Dave, that was quite the intro. I'm fired up to talk to you guys.
Hey, I'm fired up anytime that we have the pleasure of talking to you. So let us in on the latest of what's going on with Deshaun Watson, and do you think that he'll be playing quarterback for a team in 2022?
You know, what's funny is every time the conversation moves away from his legal cases into a trade, right? Deshaun Watson was trending this week from, I think, owner John Mara of the Giants said we would not trade for Deshaun Watson. But there are teams that, you know, there's whispers that they will trade for him. So while this conversation was, will they trade for him, will they won't trade for him, there's a leak that occurs from the attorney for the accusers. There's a guy by the name of Tony Busby. And he leaks a pretty sensitive portion of a recent deposition of one of the people involved, one of these witnesses, not one of the accused involved, but someone that was familiar with the chain of events. And the questions, as you can imagine, were very invasive, of a sensitive nature, accusing Deshaun Watson of, without getting into specifics, a fetish for something, right? You can use your imagination. So now the narrative has now moved from a trade to, hey, again, will Deshaun Watson be charged criminally? So, yeah, I think the attorney on the other side is playing a very, for better or for worse, he's playing a game with the media. Anytime people stop talking about the case in the bad way, right, and they forget about it, he finds a way to remind people of these kind of heinous acts that Watson's being accused of. So if you ask me today, I don't think Watson's on a new team at the start of the 2022 season. I just think there's too many legal hurdles to overcome. Not that some team might not take a chance, right? Carolina Panthers might take a chance, Redskins, but they'd be getting slammed with this potential for some horrendous PR. So I don't personally think it's going to happen before the start of the year, but, you know, I'm happy to be wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people out there would be happy to be wrong and see Deshaun Watson playing football, but I'm sure that there's a pretty good percentage up there that until everything's ironed out and he's clear to go, that they'd rather him not be playing football. Sticking with football here, is Antonio Brown going to sue the Bucs for defamation? And if so, what would that case look like?
Yeah, I mean, just to close the loop on Deshaun, like, at the end of the day, if a team wants to take the risk tolerance that this prize trade asset sends to prison, right, that's on them. We are all familiar. We all play poker. We all gamble in some sense. I imagine most of your listeners do. So if someone wants to take that risk, so be it. It's not on us to say what they can and can't do. Just as lawyers, I think there's a good chance that the guy's not going to be on the field. So that's with that. I guess, you know, and moving to Antonio Brown, speaking of guys with legal troubles, you know, Brown found himself in hot legal water on his end for about, 2 years. And all of a sudden, once he got cleared and he's out of the water and he's finally playing with Brady, then he has this fake vax card. He's got a lot of issues, with Tampa Bay. The latest is that Brown is threatening to sue the Bucs for defamation from certain comments that insinuated that he ran off the field because he was having a mental health episode. And Brown insists that the only reason that he was not able to play was because he had an injured foot, and nothing to do with mental health and nothing like that. And anything to the contrary, he's saying it is slanderous, right? That is a lie. And in the law, you can file a defamation suit if someone lies about you and it harms your reputation. The tricky part for Brown, because Brown's a public figure, right? You guys all know these tabloid magazines that say stuff about celebrities that may or may not be true. The only way that a celebrity can sue someone and successfully win for defamation is if the other person knew the statement was a lie, but still said it anyway, that the Bucs are just out here lying about this mental health thing. So I don't know if we know enough one way or the other. I just know it's an odd situation that doesn't normally happen. So it's possible there's something there, but I think the threat of it, I think, is going to maybe force these two sides to settle at this point.
When it comes to the MLB and the lockout, Dan, how far are these two sides apart?
I don't think they're very close. I keep getting the impression anytime I hear an update, and we had one on Monday, they're hammering out, they're about like 100,000 off with raising the minimum wage salary, which is good. They're nowhere close in terms of coming with a free agent proposal. Right now, we have the system of Major League Baseball arbitration where you have to hit arbitration for 6 years or be a 6-year player, become a free agent. Major League Baseball had tossed around this concept of, hey, what if we just do it based on how old the player is instead of how many days he's been in the majors? Major League Baseball scrapped that idea. So, we're kind of back at square one at some levels, making progress in others. But, at the end of the day, David, I mean, we're so far, I guess until the season's upon us, I wouldn't really be concerned with that normal date pitchers and catchers report and, the end of February, beginning of March. I don't think there's going to be real pressure on the teams, and the players to get a deal done. Maybe until March. I don't sense that urgency, and I don't think anybody really is pushing it in the background. So they can toss around offers, but until we really get close to losing games, I don't think the fans are that concerned about it either. That's the unfortunate part. I think until they're really up against it, I don't think we're going to see real progress.
All right, so we understand that the sides are not there; they're not very close right now. So as we get closer and closer to spring training, what does this do for the free agency period, and could it have an effect on free agents signing long-term deals, maybe going back to their club on a 1-year deal, or even potentially saying, hey, we're going to have all these guys go back to their team on a similar contract to what they left out on their last season?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I mean, that's why we had those flurry of deals before the lockout occurred on December 1st, because we just didn't know what was going to happen. Let's say, right, guys, let's say there's a shortened season, which has happened in baseball before. We've had canceled seasons. Let's say there's a true shortened season here. It would be odd, and I don't really recall it ever, like a free agent signing that's a multi-year signing in the middle of the year. Maybe, if you don't have that much prep time and you're a pitcher and you need time to get your arm worked up, maybe a pitcher's going to be more inclined to sign a 1-year deal, and vice versa. Teams don't want to sign a guy on a long-term deal. They don't know how the guy fits in. They don't know if they'll have enough time to work himself up to game shape form and all the fun stuff that comes with team building. Maybe guys are going to be inclined to get 1-year deals, and that was really the rush to get all these deals done prior to the lockout. But yeah, I think players are worried about it. I think the quicker you get a deal done right before the season starts, the more likely you are to have some normal semblance to free agency. But yeah, if we're having a shortened season and then all of a sudden there's like a week or two to sign players, I think all bets are off. I don't think agents want that. Obviously, I think they want some workup time here.
Hey, Dan, I was just curious, does any of the problems with the minor league have anything to tie into this lockout with the Major League Baseball?
No, the problems that you're talking about, I mean, we've covered it a lot in our podcast. There's a big lawsuit now that's basically a lawsuit from a handful of those 40 teams that were contracted. Baseball went from 160 minor league teams to 120 teams. Some of those teams, I'm from New York, like the Staten Island Yankees, don't exist anymore. They're not in existence. There's an Astros affiliate, a Giants affiliate. It's a big lawsuit. I spoke to the lawyer involved with that case. He doesn't think the two are related, other than the obvious reason, right? There's just another lawsuit that's keeping Major League Baseball's lawyers busy when they maybe should be focused on the lockout. So, I don't know if there's a direct line between the two, but certainly it's another very public legal issue that the Major League Baseball is going to have to deal with.
You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on the line with Dan Lust right now. Follow him on Twitter. It's a must at SportsLawLust. Hey, Dan, y'all had a great debate, Darren versus Darren, the NIL pay-for-play debate on the Conduct Detrimental podcast. I wanted to get your opinion on that on the air here. Do you think that name, image, likeness is hurting college sports?
I don't know if it's hurting college sports. It was a fun debate between Rovell and Heitner. Heitner, he's from your neck of the woods in Florida. He helped write that Florida, the Florida bill to get athletes paid. And then you have Rovell on the other side who's kind of looking out for businesses. And he's like, hey, these businesses don't even really care if they're making money, right? They're just, they're paying an athlete $1 million. They don't care if they're making $1.5 million back. That business, at least according to Ravel, and it's an interesting point, just cares if their school is securing the top talent in the transfer portal and 5-star recruits. So Ravel, and I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but he's saying these businesses are set up kind of like a sham by boosters just to direct talent to their particular university. So I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, right? If we're going to have a free market and we just want guys to go to the highest bidder, right? Caleb Williams over at Oklahoma enters the transfer portal. I'm not really opposed to a world where schools are being very apparent, right? We'll offer you $4 million. No, we'll offer you $4.1 million, 4.2. That's the best world for athletes. The reason that it might be NIL might be bad for college sports is that I don't know. It's then you have that world where you're kind of resembling pro sports. So then what's the difference at that point? You have guys bidding millions of dollars for players entering the transfer portal. Then you're really losing the sanctity of college sports. So, yeah, if you're a parent of a student athlete, it's great, right? But if you're just a pure fan of college sports, it's really troubling that the sport that you love is no longer going to resemble this pure amateur sport. I don't know which side I fall on, but I certainly see it both ways, that that's trending in a direction that we're going to lose the purity of college sports, which, good or bad, we're certainly heading on that path.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think here in our area we have a big it's a split almost. I would say maybe a 55-45 type of a split. Do you think that it would work better as far as across the board if all states came to an agreement to a certain structure or a set of rules between all 50 states? Or is that even a possibility, in the law world, that could be very hard to set up?
It shouldn't be that complicated. And this is kind of my platform in it. Like, David, you can walk into any of the states in our lovely country, right? You know how old you need to be to drink. It's 21 years of age. That's because we have a federal law in the books that says 21. You go to Hawaii, you go to Alaska, it doesn't matter. It's 21 years of age. The problem right now, right, for student athletes, we have games, right, in any particular conference, you're crossing state lines. And when you compete for the national championship, you're competing against other states. It's kind of a competitive advantage if your state has beneficial rules, or in this instance, no NIL laws, and your school can really do whatever it wants. And I don't think that's fair from a competitive standpoint. I think if we're going to have a national champion, and we're going to have a conference championship, I don't really think it's fair that each of those states in the conference and across the country have different rules. I just, and for better or for worse, Florida has been at the helm of this, and you guys have been getting probably advantages, and which is fine. But then all the states, should get that. All the student athletes should get that. So I don't think it's fair that national championships could be won and lost based on the savviness of your politicians. Like that I find to be weird. Like how good or how bad the law is in your particular state. I think it's much more fair if the Congress gets off their butt. I know it's not that important in the grand scheme of things. We've got other things to worry about in the country, but I don't know, it's a big issue, and it impacts. You guys have a radio show based around sports. Certainly, a number of sports fans that care about this. So I would hope that Congress can figure it out soon enough and get a bill done. And in addition to that, pay our international athletes. But they're not getting paid until a federal bill gets done too. So maybe that's going to push them in the right direction.
Ooh, great points, great stuff as always, Dan. Thanks so much for joining us here on this Friday afternoon. Have a great weekend, buddy.
My pleasure, guys. Anytime.
Absolutely. That was Dan Lussay. I'm telling you right now, if you want to know what's going on with the law and sports and where they intersect, you need to go to Twitter at SportsLawLust. I'm telling you, Dan does a great job keeping you informed of everything. We're going to take a short time out. When we get back, it's going to be time for a rant in the Rib Crib Radio Room. Stick with us, y'all.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Auburn basketball returns to the Auburn Sports Network.
Wide open three. Yes! And a foul in the play! And two-hand dunk!
Saturday, the Tigers host the Big 12 SEC Challenge against Oklahoma.
Dillon for the two-hand slam! Yes! Oh, zip for three!
Pete Johnson three.
Good!
Coverage begins at 12:30 Central on your home for the Auburn Sports Network.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Here at Panama City Toyota, we love things that last. Of course, it starts with beautiful, reliable Toyota cars and trucks. It continues with every customer relationship, across generations and hundreds of thousands of miles. And now, we're proud to offer something you can count on year after year after year. A free lifetime warranty that covers your drivetrain and powertrain. If you shop with us, we'll be here for you. Because peace of mind should last throughout your entire journey.
At Slim Chickens, craft means something. Craft means bacon. And oh so crispy. Kraft means a good cayenne kick and all-natural buttermilk marinated, made fresh, perfectly fried chicken. All served on toasted brioche buns. At Slim Chickens, Kraft means quality. And for a limited time, try our new Memphis-style barbecue chicken sandwich. Try Slim's Kraft sandwiches today. Slim Chickens.
Are you concerned about safety when you travel? Emerald Coast Damsel specializes in self-protection. They offer a full line of safety products like men's and women's RFID wallets and concealed carry for purses, lifetime incidental replacement plan, and manufacturer's warranty on most items. Give the gift of self-protection and contact Michelle and Rick today, 850-358-2810, or visit their website at emeraldcoastdamsel.com. Emerald Coast Damsel, independent damsel pro for damsel in defense.
Have you ever thought about flying an airplane? It's not as difficult as you may think. Simply call Island Air Express. They are a family-oriented flight school who cares about the student pilot progression and more of a one-on-one flight training school. Island Air Express can help you celebrate your birthday by taking you on a birthday flight. Let Island Air Express show you the world from a different view by taking you and your family across beautiful Panama City Beach. Call Island Air Express at 850-814-6407 or visit their website at islandairexpress.com.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. You're riding shotgun with the Afternoon Underdogs. We're going to need some gas money. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Fill her up, please.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Into the Rib Crib Radio Room. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs. Got a little Elvis up in the building, man.
Yeah, let's get it perked up a little bit.
That's what I'm talking about, right out of your back pocket, man. That was awesome. This Saturday, 12:30, part of the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Somebody messed up with the name right there. Should have been the SEC Big 12 Showdown.
Well, you also have the Big 10 ACC Showdown, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but okay, so that one should be the ACC Big 10 Challenge.
Okay.
That one rolls so much better, right? I'm just saying.
This is Dave's world. We're just living in it.
What do y'all think? What sounds better, Challenge or Showdown?
Well, for the Big Ten, is it the Challenge? Is it I can't remember.
I think it's the Big Ten ACC Challenge.
I think that one's earlier in the season, right?
Yeah, they start the season off with that.
So maybe they just keep the name and branding consistent with Challenge rather than having to change everything up. And God forbid you change a graphic from Challenge to Showdown.
Right.
Anyways, it's
the
Challenge.
But does Showdown carry on the connotation that it's an actual tournament, though?
No.
No? Okay.
But it's not really a tournament, though.
No,
It is
that's
a
what I'm saying.
showdown.
That's what I'm saying. But it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I think Showdown, I think of like a, like we used to have the Great Alaska Shootout. And we used to have
And it is, though, because the Big 12 and the SEC are going at it, and it's basically just a one-year bragging right. Like the SEC got the best of them last year, 5-4. But that's because Texas and Kentucky got canceled.
Right.
So we'll see what it is this year. Baylor's got the best record in that SEC Big 12 Showdown with a 7-1 record since they've been doing that. So we're starting it off on our air, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida at 12:30. Tip's going to be at 1 o'clock, and then we'll have Baylor, Alabama following that at 3 o'clock. Alabama's been struggling, and that is not a team that you want to take on when you're riding the struggle bus.
No, not at all.
No. So this is going to be rants from the Rib Crib Radio Room, and we're going to start it off over here with Adam, who wants to, Bruce Pearl is doing a heck of a job over there at Auburn right now, but Chris Mack and Louisville have, I guess we're calling it a divorce. Is that what are you calling it?
It's a mutual parting of ways. I think Mack went to the brass there at Louisville and said, "I'm out. I'm done." And I think he realized it was too big for him, honestly. And then I think it was. I think he was in over his head. And, I give credit to Chris Mack for coming into a program that needed some revitalization and retooling. And, especially with the sanctions that were at that time were really, really fresh and, coming in. And, he came in and stepped in when pretty much nobody else wanted it at that time. So, and all the fans clamored for Chris Mack when he first came on, and after the Pitino scandal and everything. So, I give credit to him, but it's time to move forward.
All right. So then the question turns to: is Bruce Pearl using Louisville as leverage against Auburn. Explain what you mean by that, Adam.
I absolutely think he is. I mean, I don't think you even mention another school, the potentially going to another school for another 2 months until, unless you're trying to put yourself in a better position, right? I mean, Auburn right now, they're number 1 in the country. They're a great team. I'm not taking anything away from them, but they haven't been considered a blue blood, forever in basketball. But they're still sharing, practice facilities and things with the women's basketball team. And, Bruce Pearl's looking for more money, and he's looking for better facilities for his guys. And what better way to do it when you've got a blue blood like Louisville, who, some would argue is a top 10 job right now, even with the sanctions hanging over their head.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're 4th right now in terms of overall revenue in men's college basketball. So, Louisville was the first name that popped up in everybody's heads, whenever they were thinking about a new coach at Louisville. And, he came out and, did his denial when he discussed the Louisville job. So, he's looking for better facilities, and he's looking for more money, and he's probably going to get it.
Does he have any ties to Louisville?
No, none at all.
Okay.
No.
I wasn't sure if he was an alum or what, but I heard him mention that yesterday. I can't remember who he's talking with, but they brought that up. They're like, so your name came up for the job, and he's like, oh, I love staying here. It's a nice. I mean, they have a great team.
Yeah,
they have a
they're
really
number
great
1
team
in the
right
nation
now.
right
Yeah,
now.
they have the projected, possibly the first overall pick in the NBA draft. They got all those kids from the transfer portal. I mean, but like he said, they brought up like you said, it's not a blue blood school.
Mm-hmm.
It's a football school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe he is looking, but like you said, it's definitely leverage to better your situation at Auburn for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think he's just using it in a sense for him to, rather than play this contract out, but to get an extension? Or is there a real possibility, because Louisville is in that category of a blue blood, that we could see him there next year? Or, I mean, because with the team that you've got, like what you've got right now in Auburn, and first time in history that they've been a number 1 team in the AP poll, the recruits that he's bringing in, Walker Kessler only being a sophomore, and guys aren't normally going to Auburn to be one-and-done type players, he's kind of set up for the next 2 or 3 years. What would change his mind to get him over there at Louisville?
Well, I mean, there's better facilities there. Like I said, the revenue is huge. Adidas is the main sponsor of Louisville, and they don't just outfit one team; they outfit the entire university. So they fork over a lot of money. The revenue that men's basketball brings in, like I said, is typically number 1 or number 2. Like I said, I think it's 4 this year, right now, and that's on a down year. Right, so if they're number 1, or top 10, and as far as performance goes, then they're number 1 or number 2. So they've got more money. Their facilities are top notch. The Yum Center's downtown, and it's one of the greatest, arenas to watch a game in. And so the facilities, I think, is the big key. The extension is going to be big for Pearl, but the facilities and what he wants to get for his program, I think, is what he's going to mainly use that leverage for.
All right. I'm asking a question here in the Facebook chat of who should be on the cover of MLB The Show 22. But while we're waiting on some answers to come in, I wanted to know, does the Pro Bowl even need to be played anymore? This is another question that Adam set up. Let's start it off with Corey here. Do you think that the Pro Bowl even needs to be played anymore?
Not a chance.
Not a chance?
I would rather see when they did the skills competitions back in the day, because there's constant players don't even want to go, for one. That's obvious. And then the farther you make it in the playoffs, you get your Pro Bowl nod, that's real nice and good, but then you're not even going. So now they have, some other guy who might be deserving, but I just think, they keep trying to rebrand the Pro Bowl and moving it around, and don't they play it on like a weird day too?
It's the Saturday before the Super Bowl, right?
Okay.
Saturday or Sunday before.
It would be Sunday because it's February 6th, so
right.
the Super Bowl's February 13th.
Right, and it's in Vegas this year, new stadium.
See, that's what they're trying, but I don't know. They have you can't blitz, right?
Yeah, it's a lame.
Special
They might
teams
as
don't
well just
exist
play
other than
flag
kicking
football.
field goals, right?
Except for back in the day which was the punter that just laid the wood.
Oh, I remember what you're talking about.
That wasn't Leckler, was it?
I think it was
a Viking.
Or was it McAfee?
Oh, was it Pat?
I think it might have been
Patty
McAfee.
Mack. I don't know. Both of those answers ring true. We'll have to look that up here in the break. What's your answer on that, Adam?
No, I don't think they should play it anymore. I think it'd be a great honor. I mean, I'd be all for a skills challenge of some type.
Which they brought those back, I believe, last year. They started playing
Right,
dodgeball.
but
Not as cool as what it was back in the day when you had Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Trey Dilfer
trying to throw it
the
into
ball.
buckets and things like that, moving targets. Like I
Yeah.
thought that was cool. And then you could do other things with wide receivers and running backs and linemen and things of that nature. Kicking contest would be cool. I mean, I'd love to see Money Mac versus Justin Tucker on a field goal kicking contest. Like how cool would that be? You know, just trying different trick shots and stuff. So. I feel like they should probably just be done with it and just have it as a big honor for people that actually make it.
So for me, I'm going to differ with my answer a little bit. I get that the actual game on the field it's not competitive. In fact, that's probably the worst part of the weekend of Pro Bowl, right? But the stuff leading up to it is how you're going to engage the fans for the future. Like they're throwing the wild card game. One of the wild card games every year is going to be on Nickelodeon, right? And they got the slime time and then the slime MVP and all that good stuff. So with these games of dodgeball and stuff like that, the exposure to the younger generation in a sport where, because of the violence, a lot of families are saying, no, look, that's not the sport you're going to play. You can play soccer, you can play a non-contact sport, but football, too many concussions and stuff like that. But if they can get these kids enthralled in it, engaged in it, intrigued by it, then the success of football can continue on further. Because look at it. Where we're at right now, we might be in a better position. This is tough for me to say, but we might be in a better position with superstars in the league right now than we were with the Brady, Manning, Breeze era, because it's Mahomes, Burrow, Allen. They're so young. They're so good. And so they can keep those kids' attention. And not only that, where are these kids getting all of their information? Like 110%, right? Social media. What are these quarterbacks good at being on? Social media.
Right.
So it creates a perfect storm for these younger kids to be participating in football. We're going to go ahead and take a break. But before that, I want to let you guys know that we are your home for Super Bowl 56. We're going to take a short time out. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs.
Weather forecast overnight. This weather front passing through the region will start to move out, I would say, late at night. And the overnight temperature by morning, upper 20s and low 30s. You'll feel colder with that northwest wind up to 20. Northwest wind up to 20 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny, 45 to 50 only. 55 to 60 Sunday, mostly sunny. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, best little lumber yard in Panama City and Youngstown. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida presents NFL Conference Championship Sunday. First, it's the Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. Touchdown! Coverage starts at 1:30, kickoff at 2. Then, the San Francisco 49ers are at the Los Angeles Rams. And the kick is good! Kickoff Sunday at 3:30 right here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Have you been to Gin Gin Super King Buffet? It's not your average Gin Gin. Well, here's what you're missing. Gin Gin Super King Buffet has competitive pricing, a great selection, extensive buffet options perfect for family dining. Menu options also include top quality seafood, hibachi and sushi bar, or select their mouth-watering crab legs by order. Bring the family out to Gin Gin Super King Buffet, located next to Wonderworks at 9802 Front Beach Road on Panama City Beach.
Hi, I'm Tracy, your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult, but that's why I've trained my staff to be helpful and to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Pick your sparkle and use our easy layaway plan. Every woman deserves an exquisite diamond from your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We don't work on commissions.
We work for smiles and I-dos.
So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, stop by and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialist is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
Damsel in Defense presents Defend Your Stance. Got an opinion? Time to defend it. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Taxes done free. Need help filing your 2021 taxes? We're here to help. We have the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. Don't pay for filing, loans, or a rapid refund. VITA, which is Volunteer Income Tax Assistant. E-filing gets you cash fast. 1040 and certain Schedule C returns are prepared free for qualifying taxpayers. You just need to make less than $63,000. This is going to be at the Glenwood Community Center, 850-896-2588. Walk-ins only from January 25th through April 14th on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Adam, let's help these people win some money.
Let's do it.
All right, the Grand Slam of Cash. The code word for today is winter, W-I-N-T-E-R. Go ahead and take that code word, head on to espnpc.com/contest, enter the code word there for your chance to win $1,000. We'll have 2 weekly winners of $1,000 each. Disclaimer, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is participating in a national contest. This here is Defend Your Stance. That's brought to you by Emerald Coast Damsel Independent Damsel Pro for Damsel in Defense. This weekend, they're going to be in Fort Walton. Give us a call for the trivia today, 850. Wait, we already had a winner.
Trivia.
Coach Olds, man.
Yeah.
I was like, man, we haven't got a winner today. And then
No, we did, yeah.
As soon as I looked at you when I said that, I was like, oh, yeah. I'm backtracking. All right, they're going to be in Fort Walton. I pity the fool who doesn't use our tool. Is a Bengals loss, we're going to toss this to Adam first.
Okay.
Is a Bengals loss a negative?
No, I don't think so. We're still, a year before our window. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our window, typically NFL windows for success are, 3 to 5 years. And we're still shy of that window. This was an anomaly. And one I'm very, very happy about. So I don't necessarily think it's a negative if the Bengals were to lose on Sunday. I don't think that you can look at this season as anything but a positive. And, are there some things to work on and some things to improve? Absolutely. But like I said, the Bengals have the opportunity to see how they stack up against the best competition in the league. And now they know exactly what they need to work on.
That's a great point. See where they go from there. Corey, what are you thinking?
I think it's going to be a negative for the AFC North. I know that much.
Yeah.
No, I mean, when you make it in the playoffs, Joe Burrow, second year?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, first full year.
First full year.
Because of the injury.
How is that, they got a good defense. They got a young, good squad. And like you said, Adam, there might be a year or two even away as they stand now, but they're in the AFC Championship game.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't know how it could be a negative. I remember 2019 when the Titans made a run that's very similar to this, right? First round in the wild card, you take down Tom Brady, give him the loss, and then basically prepare the exit for him in New England. And then you move on and you take on Baltimore as an underdog. And then you do lose to Kansas City in the AFC Championship. But I can remember after that game where I was like, we weren't supposed to be here. If you would have told me at the beginning of this year that the Titans would be playing in the AFC Championship, I would have laughed at you and walked off. Right. You know what I mean? Like Derrick Henry wasn't even the solidified 100% back at that point. You know what I mean? He started coming on that very year as far as being the Titans guy. And so I wasn't expecting that. And then even after the loss, it's like, yeah, it sucks that we lost and we're not playing in the Super Bowl. But man, just imagine what the future holds. And, here we are losing to the Bengals this year, which isn't necessarily a huge negative because of all the injuries that the Titans dealt with. And for them to be the number 1 seed, again, if you would have told me that the Titans would have been the AFC, yeah, exactly. Wild, no doubt. So I think that it's all positives here for the only way that you'll get a negative is if, and I'll knock on wood while I'm saying this, but Joe Burrow ends up getting hurt, and it's not just a minor injury.
True.
That's where you'll have every single Bengals fan like, I wish we didn't even play in that game. You know what I mean?
Well,
though?
I mean, you'd be happy you were there, but you're like, it was like when Carson Palmer got hit by Kimo von Oelhoffen in the divisional round against the Steelers, and the Bengals were primed to win it all that year, and he went down in the first quarter, I think it was, and it just completely ruined any chance they had. So,
flip it over to the other side though, and let's start with Corey on this one. How big of a negative would it be if the Chiefs lose this game?
Oh, I wouldn't say that negative because they've made it to the AFC Championship game the last 4 years?
Yeah, this is their 4th year in a row.
Well, I mean, obviously, they go into the game and they want to win. I think it would be a negative what if the Bengals come and just blow them out? Just completely boat race them and
I'm here for it.
I know. And Kansas City, they've always had questions on their defense the past couple years, but last week they played a really good game, and I think that would be the only negative. And of course, like you said, if on the Bengals side, if Joe Burrow gets hurt, if Patty goes down hard, and now you're looking out, depending on the injury, what if he misses next? That would be the only thing.
Oh man, Chiefs fans would be in the same situation as if Burrow were to get hurt in the Bengals, except for the future is just the future's already bright for the Chiefs, right? But this year the sun has just risen on top of the Cincinnati Bengals because of how bright that future could be with the likes of Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and Joe Mixon. In my opinion, even though the shelf life of a running back not very long, but he's kind of just getting started, or finally had the year that he was supposed to have. For me, if the Chiefs lose, this is an extreme negative because they've already lost to the Bengals this year. So now it almost looks like, whoa, Joe Burrow has the Chiefs number. Yeah, and the whole league, that's going to be putting the whole league on notice. Like, look, the AFC North
legit.
is already tough as it is, but now you've got Joe Burrow and those Bengals who are going to be there year in and year out. And Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, we were talking about it yesterday. It's just like there's no room now in the AFC for you to be banking on a wild card.
Right.
There's just no room for it. You've got 4 studs there that are annually going to be inside the playoffs. What are you thinking over there, Adam?
As far as the Chiefs go, I think it'll be a huge negative. Like I discussed earlier with the Bengals, like the Chiefs window is not opening any further. Like, in fact, I think it's closing with higher salaries coming. You've got Patty Mahomes going to get paid $50 million next year. And then you're going to be looking at Tyreek Hill wanting to get paid. I mean, I don't know all of their salary cap issues or anything like that, but I'm sure I could look it up. But, I mean, you've got a lot of talent on that field offensively and defensively that are going to want to get paid. And what does that do for the rest of the team, right? I mean, the NFL is designed to have parity, and, and that's why you only have short windows. And, again, this is 4 years in a row, but is this year 4 of 5, or is this year 4 of 8?
Right.
We don't know, but I think it could be a big negative that they're not reaching the Super Bowl and getting beat by, a pretty big underdog in the Cincinnati Bengals.
7 points.
7.5 as far as
game.
I think it's 7.5 right now.
And it could have very well moved up. The last time that I looked today, it was that, or actually, I haven't even seen the spread today. It was yesterday when I looked, and it was sitting.
The bottom
at
line
7.
on ESPN showed 7.5.
All right. So, and you know how it is. Every different book is going to be at a different pace. But 7.5. Either way, that's a full touchdown. We saw that game in Week 17, right? 34-31 win for the Bengals. Now, it's going to be a big difference, right? It's going to be a huge difference because this time we're in Arrowhead and not in Cincinnati.
And it's the playoffs.
That was going to be my question. I wasn't sure if the game was in Cincinnati, but now we know.
Yeah, so with that being said, though, Joe Burrow came out and said that, NFL stadiums, Come on, I was playing in the SEC, so my question is, Joe Burrow right? Are SEC stadiums louder than NFL stadiums? I can't give you a great demonstration of that because I've only been to one NFL stadium, and that's the Tennessee Titans Stadium. And while it was loud, it compared nothing to an Alabama game. And this was a game, this was 2018. It was New Year's Eve. We were taking on the Colts, and whoever won that game was in the playoffs. It was Andrew Luck's last regular season game, matter of fact, now that I think about it. And so that's oh man, we gotta take a quick timeout. We're up against the hard break. We're gonna come back, do a little bit more defend your stance. Our 5 at 5 with 10 games. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for Super Bowl 56.
Kansas City, 3 seconds to go.
Sunday, February 13th, we're bringing you the game live from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, with a rich audio experience that puts you right in the stands.
It is good. We're going overtime.
Go home for Super Bowl 56. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Let All About Garage Doors service your garage door today. All About Garage Doors has 24/7 service at no extra charge. Right now at All About Garage Doors, they will service your garage door starting at $99. And that comes with a free set of rollers. Yes, you heard right. They'll service your garage door starting at $99 plus a free set of rollers. Call All About Garage Doors now. 850-842-9188. Veteran owned and operated. Small business owners of Bay County, are you aware of the recent changes in the credit card industry that could affect how much you pay for credit card processing? With over 30 years experience right here in Bay County, Merchant Management Group is ready to help your business take advantage of these changes and in some cases eliminate all fees for accepting credit card. Other businesses have already made the change. Call Merchant Management Group today to schedule a no obligation appointment. 850-747-0664.
The official radio station of Super Bowl 56. Powered by Pepsi. WGSX Nathan 104.3. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Discover Kia in 2022 at Bill Bird Kia, your local community dealer. Let your New Year adventures begin in a new Kia. Stop by and test drive any of our all-wheel drive Kias and gear up for winter. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on a new 2022 Kia K5, Seltos, Sorrentos, or Telluride. Bill Bird Kia is not only the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty, they're the home of the best customer experience anywhere. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. We make buying a car easy, and you'll enjoy the way we do business.
Offer from KMF for the purchase of a new 2022 K5, Seltos, Sorrento, or Telluride with $17.48 per 1,000 financed in 60 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 1/31/22.
Ball game. Auburn wins it. Oh, my goodness, what a finish.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
Auburn wins. Auburn 80. Kentucky 71.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Oh, welcome back into the Rib Crib Radio Room. Tonight at Bay Point Golf Club, it's time for Trivia Night and Taco Bar. 5:30 to 8 p.m. Swing by Bar 72. Join the fun. $15.95 per person. Teams of 2, 3, 4, or 5. Taco Bar and trivia prizes are included in the price, and there's prizes for first, second, and third. Reservations required. Call 850-235-6950. Now, getting back to one question in Defend Your Stance, the one we left off with, and let's start it off with Adam. What are you thinking about the SEC stadiums? Are they louder than an NFL stadium? Are they going to be louder than Arrowhead in a playoff game?
I think they are. I mean, you got to think about the pure numbers, right? And how much closer they are to the field in college stadiums. And you've got 100,000 people packed into a stadium. And I know it was his home field, but Death Valley. You go to Alabama, Auburn, a place like the Swamp that that he's had to go into, and I just don't. I don't think it's going to phase Joe Burrow, and I think that's what he was trying to say is, not that. I don't think he was trying to disparage Kansas City fans, but you know, playing in the SEC like he did against that talent and against that that fandom, I just don't think it's going to affect him.
All right, what do you think of Corey?
It's completely different. I just think, like Adam said, the vested interest it's a lot bigger, and they're packed in like sardines in the SEC stadiums.
That's true.
I don't watch too many SEC games, but living in Florida, that's all they play on TV anymore. So, it's just like, if was it this year, like in the Ohio State Michigan game, first drive, first play of the game, they literally had to call a timeout because it was too loud.
Yeah.
No one could hear anybody. Like what?
In the big households, what, like 110? I think it is.
Yeah. Like nah.
All right, so I'm reading an article over here on WUFT.org, all right? And they're talking about in Gainesville, Dr. Jagadish Swamy of Clear Sound Audiology explained a person should not be exposed to a level of 85 decibels for more than 8 hours. So then it goes on to say that when fans are settled and plays are dead, the levels read around 77 decibels. Well, the Guinness Book of World Records is set at Arrowhead for 142.2 decibels during a game against the New England Patriots. So that's not really giving us a direct correlation, but that's where the record was set. And you just gotta wonder, man, when it comes to playoffs, could it be they're a little bit louder? But I think the point goes back to Joe Burrow has not only played in this and dealt with it, but he did it at home, and he did it on the road, playing in places like Alabama. So he's dealt with the crowd noise, and it's not going to be as big of a factor to him as it is to someone coming out of, let's say, playing in the Big 12, right? And the only time that they're in big-time stadiums is if they're on the road playing in Texas or Oklahoma.
Right.
So, I think that he does have somewhat of an advantage. Let's get to the 5 at 5 here. We're going to be picking all the games from the SEC Big 12 Challenge, not Showdown. And we're going to start it off with number 19, LSU taking on TCU in TCU. I don't have any spreads for this game or for these games at all today. So let's start it off with Adam. Who do you got winning this game, buddy?
Give me the TCU Horned Frogs in this one. They're at home, and they can be kind of rowdy there. So give me TCU.
All right. What do you got, Corey?
I'm going to have to go with Adam. Playing at home in TCU, LSU's ranked 19. They're gonna come in hot tonight.
I'm just going SEC homer heavy here. You don't even got to ask me who I'm picking. Just who's playing out of the SEC. No, I'm totally kidding right there. I'm actually going to go LSU to win this game. They've got some studs on their team, and if they can get some consistent play going, you're talking about a team that can make a deep run into the tournament when it comes to March Madness. Let's go to Missouri at number 23, Iowa State. Adam, let's start it off with Corey here. Where you at with this game?
Let's go Cyclones. We'll see. We'll see what they can do.
He's over here going Big 12 heavy on us. I'm right there with you. Even though Missouri just played a tight game with the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, down to the wire.
They're good at home, but they're not so great at the road or on the road. And Iowa State is good when it comes to playing or defending their home court. So I'll go with the Cyclones.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. It's a clean sweep.
All right, so, speaking of Auburn in that Missouri game, let's take a look back at what happened with Auburn.
Gets it off at the horn, won't go, Kessler, that won't drop, 1 second, ball game, Auburn wins it, oh my goodness, what a finish.
So you just got to keep your Auburn fans happy, man. Big wins over Kentucky last weekend, and then they get their first win in program history as a number 1 seed over Missouri. what was it, 56-55? It was a 1-point win, 56-55 or 55-54, one way or the other. But that's how they're getting their program or their season started as the number 1 seed. Very impressive.
Dave, where can you listen to Auburn basketball?
Well, I was about to explain the game, but you can listen to all their games right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. And we're going to start it at 12:30 for the pregame here. Oklahoma at number 1 Auburn. So this is going to be a tough game. Oklahoma had Alabama last year, and Oklahoma got the best of Alabama. This year, it's Auburn. I'll start this one off. I'm not picking against Auburn right now, man. They're playing some of the best basketball of anybody, and they're getting it from their depth. We find that out week in and week out when we get to talk to Brad Law.
Yeah, I'm going with Auburn in this one, too. I think they're just too tough down low with Kessler and Smith. And, if they get any kind of great play from their guard play, they're almost impossible to defend.
We sweeping it out, Corey, or you're picking the upset?
Nah, you better believe it. I hope Oklahoma has a nice trip down to Auburn, and maybe they get a good meal tonight, but they're not going to get the win.
Let's get some more games here from the SEC Big 12 Challenge. West Virginia at Arkansas. Adam, lead us off with this one.
I'm going to go with the Razorbacks in this one. It's a tough place to play down there, and West Virginia hasn't really shown me a whole lot in the Big 12 this year.
What do you got, Corey?
I'll go with that. Let's go Razorbacks. I think Arkansas can do it. Both teams they remind me of each other a little bit, so we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, definitely. They definitely resemble each other to an extent for sure. And I'm gonna sweep this one out with y'all again. I've got to go Arkansas. They're a team. They're a lot better of a team than the lack of number to the left of their name. Let's go to number 4 Baylor at Alabama. Corey, what do you like from this one?
Baylor's been playing pretty good basketball, it seems, all season long. They won last year, right? They won that. So, they'll probably, and you guys said earlier, Alabama's been fumbling. So I think Baylor's going to probably embarrass them tonight.
I'm going to have to pull an old school on this one. As much as I'll be rooting for Alabama, I can't pick them here, especially when we're picking against each other here. I got to keep up with y'all. I'm going with the Baylor Bears, but I'll be rooting for my boys.
Not so fast.
Not so fast. I want to
you
hear
won't be
this.
picking against me. I'm going with Alabama. Alabama has proven that if they can get hot from the outside, they can stay with anybody. I know Baylor's defense is good, but they've been faltering here lately, and they're going into a place in Tuscaloosa there that Alabama knows it needs a big win, a big marquee win on its resume, and I think they get it this weekend.
No doubt. Maybe they'll get some favorable calls in that game. Kansas State at Ole Miss. Man, for me in this one, I'm going to go with Jarkel Joyner and the Rebels of Ole Miss. What do you got, Adam?
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on this one. I think Ole Miss says too much for them.
Corey?
I'm going to go against you guys.
There we go.
You got to switch it up.
There we go. He's got the
Kansas State.
There we go, man. He's got the Wildcats, man. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go with Oklahoma State and Florida down there in Gainesville. Adam, lead this one off.
Give me the Okies here. I like Oklahoma State and going down there to Gainesville and getting the W.
Corey, what you got?
What does old school say all the time? what state do I live in?
Where do I live?
Where do I live?
No doubt. I'm gonna share that sentiment with you. I'm going, where do I live? Give me the Gators. All right, now this has got to be one of the best games of the entire weekend. Actually, these last three are they're very intriguing to me, but this one especially. Number 12, Kentucky, visiting number 5, Kansas. You want to talk about blue bloods, and this is 100% what it boils down to. Which way would you lean in this contest, Corey?
Ooh, it's gonna be a real tough game. I think Kentucky can. I think Calipari might get his boys ready for the game and maybe pull a little, not a huge upset, but a little bit of an upset against Kansas.
Right. I mean, from the start of their season, if they were to win this game, it would be an upset. I've got to go with a team at the house here, though. It's going to be Rock Hawk Jayhawk for me, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Coach Cal can get them to come in and put up a lot of points on the board, because that's one thing. But on the road, they just haven't been dominant. I'm going with Kansas.
Kentucky leans so heavily on Oscar Tshiebwe, and rightly so. The dude is a phenom. I think he had 21 and 21 the other day. Yeah, did you not watch?
Wow.
Oh, he had
Wait, in the Auburn game?
No, the last game that they played.
Okay, no.
He had 21 points, 21 rebounds, and that game came down to the wire. And I think in this game here, Kentucky's going to need a lot more from the outside. But I think I'm going to go with Kansas on this one just because I don't trust Kentucky's backcourt right now.
Let's go to Mississippi State and number 13, Texas Tech, the Red Raiders. These two played their last football game of the season against each other, and Texas Tech routed them in a very unexpected fashion. Adam, lead us off with this one.
Give me the Red Raiders. They're at home. They're a different team, like you talked about with Kentucky, and I like what Texas Tech's been able to do at home.
Corey?
I'm going to go with Adam again here. You know, Mac McClung, maybe he'll throw a little dunk show tonight. He still play for Texas Tech?
NBA.
Yeah, he's gone, brother.
Yeah. I know. That's why I haven't been able to pick Texas Tech
never
like
mind.
I wanted.
Mississippi State, here we go.
Hey,
Let's
there we
go.
go.
Switching it up. That's it.
Hey, I'm actually, there's just something about Mississippi State. When they're favored to win games, they don't do so well. But when they're the underdog in certain cases, like the game against Alabama, they came away with the win there. So let me give Mississippi State, even though they are on the road. And then we'll finish it out here. This will be the last one of our 5 at 5. Number 18, Tennessee, taking on Old School's Texas Longhorns. Corey, lead us off here.
Oh, my man, Old School. Shout out to you, brother. I'm going to roll with you again. Big upset. Texas, let's go.
Oh, man, I hate it that Old School is at a family reunion right now because he would really enjoy that. You know what I mean? The shout-outs. I'm going to go with Tennessee here on the road, though. Texas just hasn't been impressing me this year.
Yeah, give me Tennessee on the road here, and that puts me at 5 and 5 in this challenge.
5 and oh, you got 5 Big Ten and 5 SEC. Ooh, man. I'm not going to count right here right now, but we're going to take a break, and I am going to count. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs. It's 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to pay the bills, and when we get back, we're going to be going into some prop bets for the NFL playoffs.
Weather forecast overnight. This weather front passing through the region will start to move out, I would say, late at night. And the overnight temperature by morning, upper 20s and low 30s. You'll feel colder with that northwest wind up to 20. Northwest wind up to 20 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny, 45 to 50 only. 55 to 60 Sunday, mostly sunny. This weather forecast has been brought to you by All About Garage Doors, your garage door repair specialist. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
ESPN Northwest Florida is your chance to win more cold, hard cash. $1,000 could be yours in the Grand Slam of Cash. Listen for the code word weekdays at 8:45 a.m. and at 4:45 p.m. When you hear the code word, enter it at ESPNPC.com or on the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app. There will be 2 $1,000 winners every week in the Grand Slam of Cash.
Highland Finance, helping you prepare for life. The profit your business brings in should go to you, not accidents, injuries, and hurricanes. Do a policy review on your general liability and workers' comp today. Our proven track record helps our clients prepare for life. Call 850-359-5989. Highland Finance.
I'm Matt Glover with Aero Pest Service, and we are your family-owned and operated pest control company in Bay County since 1977. Did you know bed bugs are hitchhikers and you can pick them up anywhere people congregate? Churches, restaurants, buses, and movie theaters? Call us today and we'll guarantee you a treatment process to get rid of your bed bugs. Give us a call today at Aero Pest Service, 850-874-1900.
Coram Steak and Egg, home of the world-famous Heavenly Hash, has been family-owned and operated since 1986. Open daily 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Coram Steak and Egg prides itself in offering fresh, never-frozen favorites at family-friendly prices. Come in and check out our daily lunch and dinner specials. Coram Steak and Egg at 804 South Tyndall Parkway, where you never leave hungry. Also available on DoorDash and Grubhub.
Highland Finance, helping you prepare for life. The profit your business brings in should go to you, not accidents, injuries, and hurricanes. Do a policy review on your general liability and workers' comp today. Our proven track record helps our clients prepare for life. Call 850-359-5989. Highland Finance.
Now back to the most dangerous afternoon show on terrestrial radio.
Danger's my middle name.
It's illegal in 5 states. The Afternoon Underdogs, inside the Rib Crib Radio Room. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes along with Corey and AG. We've got Super Bowl 56 at Bay Point Golf Club. That's February 13th. Ooh, typo here on your poster. It's 2022, not 2021. February 13th, 2022. My poster over here says 2/13/21. So this is a thing of the past. It's going to be from 5 p.m. until the game ends. $15.95 per person, $10.95 for kids. They'll have a lot of different wing flavors, nacho bar, drink specials. Reservations, again, required. Call 850-235-6950, extension 4. Let's get into some playoff prop bets, guys. Let's start off with more passing yards. Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. Let's start it off with Corey.
Joe Cool.
Ooh.
I think he's going to come out and, like everyone's noticed with Joe Burrow through the playoffs, he's just completely unrattled. And I think he's going to have to throw for a lot if they have a chance.
What do you got, Adam?
Well, in Week 17, he threw for 455. Jamar Chase caught 266 of those, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes threw for less than what Jamar Chase caught. So
yeah, I remember that press conference. He was like,
I did? Really?
No way.
Right. I think he even said the S word on there, too.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
And he's like, my bad. But no,
he could pay that fine. I can't.
Right. Or he can get Joel Embiid to pay it. No, I think Burrow's going to have a repeat performance, or close to, or he's going to have to, I should say.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to. I don't think it's going to pan out that way, but you never know. The thing is the Bengals at this point are so underrated, man. They're so underrated in all facets of the game. I don't think anybody's overlooking Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase, but I don't think that they're giving the credit to that defense like what they really should be giving it to them as. Joe Mixon as well. I think that because they've been passing so much in the playoffs, he hasn't have to been utilized the way that what maybe some people on the outside expect the running game should look like in the NFL playoffs. But I'm gonna go. It's almost like picking against Alabama here, right? You know what I mean? Like in the national championship. Like, yeah, you can think that Georgia's going to win the game, but sometimes you just go with you could just pick Alabama on the basis of Nick Saban. So I'm going to do that here. I think that Mahomes is going to have more yards in the game, but I would not be mad if it's Joe Burrow. In fact, the matchup that I want to see the most in the playoffs changed yesterday from – my top yesterday was San Francisco, Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Now it's Cincinnati and the Rams. Because either team who wins there, I'm like, okay, cool. If the Bengals win, they beat the Titans, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, we lost to the eventual Super Bowl winners. If Matt Stafford wins, I think it's just good for football, and Georgia fans get a little double dose of championship feeling, right?
True.
Okay.
So I'll go with Patrick Mahomes in this game, though. Will any team record a successful two-point conversion in any of the two games? In either of the games, I guess, is the grammatically correct way.
I think somebody's going to get a two-point conversion, probably because they have to.
Ooh.
Right? I don't think it's going to be like, Vrabel choosing to go for two. Instead of kicking an eventual game-winning point. But I think the odds are in the favor with how aggressive, teams have been this season. I think somebody's going to get one.
What you think, Corey?
Same thing. I think someone's definitely going to have to. I think it's going to come down to, probably like third quarter, one game's going to be going, and some team's going to have to make that play to make the two-point conversion.
I love you guys' answers, and I'm only going to say no just to kind of keep it different.
Right.
And maybe I just hope that we have two games that are similar to last weekend's. And I don't mean what happens on the field, but the endings, right? If we get games that come down to crazy endings, I'm with it. More receiving yards, Jamar Chase or Tyreek Hill. Now, this one is a tough one. I know that I said Mahomes is going to throw for more yards, but they're going to be throwing the ball to Jamar Chase a lot, right? Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, that's one of the best duos in the league, and it's really just been this year that we've been able to see it. Let me get Jamar Chase.
I will definitely have to agree with you going with Jamar Chase just because Tyreek Hill, you were on my fantasy football team, and
Let you down?
A little bit, But
I love how we have disdain towards players who don't help us out.
Well, I mean, it's just Kansas City has so many weapons that he will have, a couple explosive plays, but Chase has to get the ball. Jamar Chase has to get the ball, and Joe will definitely be looking forward to throwing it to him.
Yeah, I think it's Jamar.
Jamar Chase, then. We'll sweep that one out. Let's go Travis Kelce. Does he go over or under 79.5 receiving yards? Adam, start with you.
Under. I think they're going to be bracketing him with Jesse Bates, and we're going to have a big game from, our nickels and dimes that are going to be back there, and we were successful against him in Week 17, so I don't think you changed the recipe.
What you got over there, Corey?
I'm probably going to have to go over. I think, like you said, they held him in Week 17, but I like Andy Reid as a coach, and they'll definitely try to scheme to make sure that Kelce gets the ball a little bit more.
No doubt about it. I'm going with the over right there. Only 80 reception yards for Travis Kelce. He could make that happen in 3 different receptions. You never know what'll happen, though. They love to get down to a little backyard football every now and again. Which of the 4 teams will record the longest play in this round of the playoffs, Adam?
Rams.
Ooh, that's a good pick. What do you got, Corey?
Oh, man. The longest play. Let's go Chiefs.
Ooh, okay. I think that with either one of the, you could go. Look, all of them got a connection that they can make. Debo could run one back, right?
Right.
Or Debo could just take a handoff from the 10-yard line and go 90 yards. Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford, we saw it last week. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, we saw it every week this
Van
year.
Jefferson.
I mean, Van Jefferson, there's so many
OBJ,
different
right.
ways. Exactly. So, but I'm going to go with the Rams here. I think that it's going to be a Stafford to Cooper Kupp connection for 70-plus yards. Rams 49ers, which occurs first? A passing touchdown or an interception? Adam, you're already ready. Go ahead.
Who gets the ball first?
Well, how am I going to know that now?
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's a big. That's a big
but I'm not
difference,
saying-
though, right?
Because
if the Niners get it, I'm like, let's go interception.
Okay.
But
No
no,
caveats, though.
I think it's going to be a touchdown.
Touchdown. What you got, Corey?
Interception. Jimmy G, Matt Stafford. They love
Either
throwing
way.
picks. They throw all kinds of picks.
No doubt.
Well, that's even if the 49ers let Jimmy G throw the ball. They might not.
Man, I'm telling you. All right, so real quick, stopping off of this for just 1 second. Well, one of the questions that I had in for Defend Your Stance was, if the 49ers win the Super Bowl, what do you do with Jimmy G at that point? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is 2 times in 3 years that you would get into the Super Bowl. Now you win it. Do you still just move off of Jimmy G and go to Trey Lance?
Yes.
Come on now.
No, you trade him because his value
his value
will
goes up.
never be higher. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Look at Nick Foles. What did Nick Foles get after he won for the? Yeah, I mean he got a great contract. So his value is never going to be higher. And you've got Trey Lance there, who, by all accounts, he's the guy. I mean, come on. I mean, he's just won the Super Bowl.
No. Ridiculous.
Get as much out of him as you can.
I've been listening to the Jimmy G hate for weeks, and how can you've been to the Super Bowl, you've been in the playoffs, NFC Championship games, and you're gonna be like, you know what? Trey Lance is way better because he played like 5 plays this season. You can't do that. You can't do that.
I think that it definitely makes the situation a whole lot tougher, but that's a great point, though. The value shoots through the roof, and you're never going to get that value again unless you go back to back. But then who do you bring in there? If you're riding with Trey Lance, I get it. I get it. But, man, how does Deebo Samuel feel at that point? Unless he has this rapport with Trey Lance or something. And I know it doesn't matter. I get that, Adam. But I'm saying, how do these players react to that? Does it change the culture in the clubhouse? Because Jimmy G is, in my opinion, the rock of that clubhouse. He kind of keeps it going. So I I just wonder how much longer Kyle Shanahan would have a job if Jimmy G's gone, because we know what the record is without Jimmy G, and we know what it is with Jimmy G, and it looks a lot better. Kyle Shanahan looks a lot better because Bill Belichick gave him Jimmy G, essentially.
Right, with a third-round pick?
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much a gift, right?
Right.
Oh, man. We'll have to see how that all plays out. Let's get back to the playoff prop bets. Let me get more rushing yards in the NFC Championship game. Let's go Elijah Mitchell or Cam Akers.
Corey, go ahead.
I would say Cam Akers because I know the 49ers like to use a lot of backs. God knows who's healthy, but, plus with Debo getting the ball too, I can't see Mitchell getting more yards than Akers.
That's a good pick. I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna go Cam Akers too. I know he had the fumbles last week, and that could definitely kind of dip into how many carries he gets or how many attempts he'll get. But I just think that he's due to have another big game as far as rushing yards are concerned. And Elijah Mitchell could as well, but I think Debo, like you said, is going to steal some from him. Where you at with that, Adam?
I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go Mitchell here, just because of the fumbles. And you've got a good, better than serviceable back in Sony Michel there. And with those two fumbles, I mean, one was at the 1 yard line.
And it didn't even
And then the other one, he pulled a Jeremy Hill.
Yeah, but Cooper Kupp fumbled in that game too now.
Right.
And
but
that was almost the ugliest
and then
fumble
you had
of the game.
The worst snap I think I've ever seen in football.
My God.
But
we've had some bad snaps throughout the season of football here.
Yeah, it's been bad. And I think Mitchell gets more opportunities than Cam Akers does in this game.
I love it, man. Let's stick with the NFC game. Who has more total yards? This isn't receiving yards. This isn't rushing yards. Total yards. Cooper Kupp or Debo Samuel? What do you got on this one, Adam?
Give me my boy Cooper Kupp. The dude is a phenom. His ability to run routes. They don't utilize him a whole lot in the rushing game. They'll run a jet sweep with him every now and again, but the dude just has a knack for stepping up in big spots. Debo does as well, but Cooper he's on a different level.
What you got, Corey?
I got to agree with you. Cooper Kupp is the route tree that he can run is ridiculous. But I do think it's going to be Cooper Kupp just for the simple fact that does Debo get a lot of receiving?
It really depends. Not as much as Brandon Ayuk, but I think the amount of times he touches the ball as a running back or as a wide back kind of affects the amount of receptions that he gets.
Yeah.
So for me though, in this one, I'm going to go that Debo Samuel gets himself some good rushing yards in this one. So I'll go with Debo Samuel over Cooper Kupp. Is that a smart decision? I wouldn't replicate that decision. I wouldn't, but it could happen.
Right.
It could happen.
Like you said, Debo is going to touch the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
So, and with all the weapons that the Rams have, that's also something to look at too.
All right, one more before we get to break here. And this one I just came up with just thinking about how the games ended last week. Who returns more punts or kicks this weekend? Will it be Tyreek Hill or Debo Samuel? What you got, Adam?
Well, in order for the Bengals to win, we have to stop them. So I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill.
There you go. What do you got, Corey?
I'm going to go with the unpopular opinion of a push.
Okay.
I mean, if the Chiefs get in a situation they don't want to be in, obviously they'll probably put Tyreek back there, but they still have Tyreek, Pringle,
Robinson.
You know what I'm saying?
Hardman.
Yeah, I know. McCall Hardman. Yeah, you can't forget about him. So it's just, I think if they even return any, which I don't know.
So you're saying, really, you think it's going to be like 0-0?
Yeah, I do.
But if one returns one, the other's going to return one as well. And that could very well be a fact. Because of the points that y'all just made, though, with just the laundry list of guys that they have over there that could return the ball, I'm going to go with Debo Samuel then, because there's not as many of those X factors like that, special team X factors on the San Francisco 49ers. All right, we're going to take a short timeout. When we get back, we're going to be going over the offensive, the defensive X factors, and making our picks for the NFL championship games this weekend. Stick with us, y'all.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show, weekday mornings 7 till 9 on your station for the best local sports talk.
As one who has watched Alabama basketball for a lot of years, I'm hopeful they can turn the corner, and what an opportunity they have this weekend. If you're a college basketball player and you can't get excited about the opportunity to play Baylor, then we've got a lot of problems at Tuscaloosa that we really don't know about yet.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Mid-South Lumber has new owners. Stop in and visit Ann and Dave. They're on site every day to make you a priority. They're not the typical big box store, and customer service is their number one priority. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years. Transform your home with James Hardy Siding. Durability, fire resistant, sustainability. James Hardy Color Plus is virtually maintenance free and comes with a 30-year warranty. Mid-South Lumber, the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City.
Hi, I'm Bobby Likas with today's Car Clinic Minute. Endangered species, Sumatran tigers, giant pandas, and brake master cylinders. Now there's hope for those four-legged creatures, but master cylinders will soon be extinct.
The Car Clinic Minute.
It's Bobby Likas Car Clinic, brought to you locally by Hewitt Tire and Auto.
Call 850-769-7323.
Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
That's 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
Thanks to technology, master cylinders are going the way of dinosaurs and dodo birds to extinction. Continental Tevis, world's largest brake manufacturer, has debuted its revolutionary brake pedal assembly, which looks deceivingly like the old one. But when you put on the brakes in this new system, mechanical connections to the master cylinder are replaced by an electrical impulse that's sent directly to the ABS computer. Bye-bye, master cylinder, and beware steering and throttle systems. Word is, you're also here today and gone tomorrow. I'm Bobby Likas. Like us, you'll love us.
He's got a wife, a family, a dog, and many other responsibilities. But for 2 hours a day, he shreds that baggage for what he really loves, sports. Boston Tim is part of the Afternoon Underdogs from the Rib Crib Radio Room, ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we're back. Thanks for listening to the Afternoon Underdogs. You're in hour 2. Man, we've got some games for you this weekend. We've got the SEC Big 12 Challenge, starting it off with Oklahoma at Auburn. Cover starts at 12:30, tip at 1 o'clock. Following that, we'll have Baylor and Alabama tip-off at 3 o'clock. Sunday, coverage starts at 1 o'clock, kickoff 2 p.m., NFL playoffs between the Bengals and the Chiefs. And then we'll have, following that, the Rams and the 49ers. Those should be some fantastic ball games. Let's get into our offensive and defensive X Factors. And if you'd like to play along with us, 850-215-6290. Give us a holler. We'll put you on the line, and you can give us your X Factors. To start it off with the odds, before we get into the X Factors, the Bengals are a 7-point underdog, and the over-under is set for 54.5 points. So that could be a game filled with fireworks. But what do we think about the over and under? Over or under 54.5? Where you at, Adam?
Give me under on that. They went to 45 points in Week 17. It was the first half explosion for Kansas City, and the second half, the Bengals got the best of them. So I'm going to go under on that one.
What are you thinking, Corey? High-scoring affair, or are they going to play some defense here?
I think it's going to be very high-scoring. I think Cincinnati definitely has a better defense than Kansas City. Kansas City did, kind of show up last week, but I just think it's going to be just fireworks every play.
Fireworks. I'm looking at over 60 points here. I'm thinking. So who knows, though? Who knows? I'll go with the over. And then in the 49ers-Rams games, it's set at 46. I like the over in that one too, man. I think that we're going to have some high-scoring games here. Not as much in the Rams and 49ers as what we'll see in the Bengals and the Chiefs. All right, over to the offensive and defensive X factors. Let's start it off with defense here for the Cincinnati Bengals. Corey, who is your defensive X factor?
I definitely think it's going to be Milton. I think he's going to have to come up big and make some plays like he did last week. And, he's going to have to cover somebody. He's going to have to cover Pringle or Tyreek or...
Talking about Mike Hilton?
I'm sorry. I don't know why I wrote Milton down. Yes,
but that's
Mike
M. Hilton. M. Hilton. It's Milton.
I like that, though, man. That's called a great abbreviation.
Yeah, we'll just say it was abbreviated.
No, I love it, dude.
But yeah, I think Mike Hilton is gonna definitely have to step up and play big.
The guy who made the interception at the end of the game's name was Logan Wilson, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as much as you talk about Trey Hendrickson, Eli Apple,
Sam Hubbard,
Bates.
I think
Jesse Bates.
I think that you're going to need another big game out of your linebacker core for the sake of covering Travis Kelce, or if they got to take the under routes with Tyreek Hill, they got to be on their toes. So I'll go Logan Wilson to be my X factor for the Bengals defense. Where are you at, Adam?
Bengals defensively, it's got to be Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates. I
Jesse
think
Bates.
That was where you were at last week, too, right?
He's so huge back there. I mean, when you've got those big wide receivers the Titans had, and then now you're covering Tyreek Hill, all those other guys that we talked about in the last segment. Jesse Bates has to play big because he's going to be needed over the top, and he's going to be needed on those underneath routes because Patrick Mahomes, in his latest success this season, hasn't really been throwing it past 20 yards.
Yeah.
So, his ability, Jesse Bates' ability to cover those underneath routes as well as be ready for those deep routes is going to be huge.
All right, let's go over to the offensive side of the ball for the Cincinnati Bengals here, and let's start with you, Adam. Who's the offensive X factor?
It's got to be Joe Mixon.
Ooh.
It's got to be Joe Mixon. Keeping Patrick Mahomes away from the football, keeping the sticks moving, and keeping the offense on the field.
What do you got, Corey?
That's exactly what I put down.
Joe Mixon?
Joe Mixon, he's going to have a big game, especially, if they start to lock down some of their wide receivers. Just like Adam said, you gotta try your best to keep Mahomes off the field as long as possible.
All right, so for me, I'm actually going to go with T. Higgins here because there's going to be a lot of coverage where they're either doubling up on Jamar Chase or, they're going to be
safety to his side.
Exactly. So they're, if not shading, they'll be double covering. So I need to see T. Higgins be able to, exploit that, expose the fact that they're so focused on Jamar Chase. And then what's going to happen? Joe Burrow's going to find him, So, and even if it's not T. Higgins, you still got Tyler Boyd there. But I'm definitely going to go with T. Higgins as kind of being my X factor there on the offensive side of the ball. And, it's so much is really going to come down to Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. It just is what it is. Man, so we've done offensive and defensive factors for the Bengals. Now let's go over to the other side of the field in the Kansas City Chiefs. And let's talk about an offensive X factor for the Kansas City Chiefs. Corey, what do you think that might be? Or who do you think that might be?
McKinnon.
Jerick McKinnon.
He came out of nowhere last week. And he just, the things that he can do on the field, he makes them even more dangerous.
No doubt.
Which you knew that could even be possible.
Right.
But he's literally just...
How do the Chiefs get more dangerous, especially with somebody who doesn't really have a name behind them like that? Adam, if you had an X factor for the Kansas City Chiefs on the offensive side of the ball, who would it be?
I think another running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Him coming back is big. You saw some of the runs he had against Buffalo and some of the things that he's able to do. Jerick McKinnon is obviously that change of pace that, run him out on a wheel route, but CEH is going to be a big role.
All right. So for me, I mean, like I just said with Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, both of those guys are obvious X factors because they're going to lead you to where you need to be. Do I go Travis Kelce? Do I go Tyreek Hill? I don't know if I want to go either one of those ways. Maybe, you get a flash in the pan from Mecole Hardman again because sometimes he just has one of those games where you're like, oh, man, I forgot about this guy because it kind of goes so deep in him and Robinson and Byron Pringle are all kind of similar guys. So I'll go with Mecole Hardman to have an explosion type of a game because they're locking up on Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, even though those guys are going to eat at some point in time.
Right.
Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce,
They're gonna do their thing.
they're going to eat. There's no doubt about it. Let's get to the defensive side of the ball for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll start with that one. Man. How many times was Joe Burrow sacked last week with the
9.
W? 9. They got to make it 10. I could say the defensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs, but let's go Frank Clark in making a big difference here. And you have to, because if 9 wasn't enough, is 10 even enough?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but the defensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs has to try to replicate the performance of the Titans as best they can. And I mean, look at Quentin Spain. Letting up, how many sacks did he let up himself? 3 times, and then gets on Twitter and wants to talk crap about Jeffrey Simmons, which, hey, at the end of the day, you won, right? You're the winning team. You're moving
Still
on.
playing.
You're playing football, exactly. And Jeffrey Simmons and the Tennessee Titans are not. But, bro, how are you going to talk mess like that when you were letting up a third of the sacks? So I think if I'm the Chiefs, I make him pay, even though he wasn't talking crap towards us.
Right.
I make him pay for how he wants to run that yapper. Defensive X factor for you, Corey.
I realized I wrote down a whole bunch of defensive backs for both games, and I think it's just going to be very important. If Honey Badger, he's coming back.
Yeah, he should be playing in this.
They're saying he should be cleared. Yeah.
He should. I mean, he is their defensive leader. He's the heart and soul. I know Sorensen. He's been fumbling around a little bit, but their corners, they're a little young. You know, Thornhill stepped in big for Tyron when he came in. I just think that he's going to have a big game because, like you mentioned, Higgins, Boyd, Chase,
you got it.
Someone got to cover somebody.
AG, where you at, bud?
Give me Tre'Davious Ward. He had such a bad game against Jamar Chase in Week 17. He's got to play better. I mean, if they're going to do any kind of, whether it's zone man or if it's just straight up man-to-man, on whether it's T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, or Jamar Chase, he's going to have to step up. Matthew's going to do his thing if he's playing. He's the Honey Badger for a reason. So I think Ward is going to have to play big in this one.
So we've set the table for the game. Let's go ahead and make our picks. As much as I would like to see the Bengals win, right? Like I said, my top 2 Super Bowl matchups have the Bengals involved in them. I just don't think that it's going to happen. I think that the luck is kind of, I don't want to say luck. I don't want to say the luck.
We know
actually.
what you mean.
I think the magic has run its course. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go with a safe pick here, and I'll take Kansas City. They're gonna be down 31-30 with, let's say, less than 13 seconds left to go, and they're gonna kick a field goal and win 33-31, and that's gonna be a heartbreaker, but who knows? So I'll go 33-31 Kansas City, even though I'll be pulling for the Bengals all Sunday afternoon. What you got, Adam? Or no. He's a Bengals fan. Corey,
I was going to say, do we have to ask Adam? I don't know. Does anyone see the shirt that he's wearing? I'm not sure. You know,
Boo day.
You're right. I really think it's gonna. I'm gonna pick Kansas City, but the reason I'm gonna pick Kansas City is because of Andy Reid.
Okay.
I think if you look at what the Cowboys did, and they just goofed that up royally, and then you see Andy Reid in the same situation, and they march down the field. It's going to be – I just think he's going to make the difference in the game. Obviously, the players play the game, but I think that it's going to come down to, in every game there's a couple coaching situations, and I think he's going to make the right one.
And that's a great point. Now, the difference is the Chiefs had 3 timeouts moving down the field, but I can guarantee you that had Andy Reid been coaching the Cowboys in that game, there's no way in the world that Dak Prescott is going to run a quarterback draw for, 20-something yards when there's 14 seconds. Yeah, no way at all. Adam, give me your score for the game.
What's your score there?
Let's go. I said it was going to be a shootout. Let's go. I still think it's going to come down to a field goal, 45-42.
Oh, man.
That's a barn burner right there.
The way that these games, but if it goes down to that, just let me know if you need a ride to the hospital for a heart attack or something.
I've got you on speed dial, brother. No, this game is going to boil down to who can get stops, right? We've seen the Bengals defense in the previous 2 games. We saw the Bengals defense against the Chiefs in Week 17. People forget that, granted, I know it's not the playoffs and it's different setting. We're on the road, but we were able to hold Kansas City to 3 points in the entire second half.
Yeah, people get lost.
People get lost on that. Okay, so this Bengals defense is nothing to trifle with. They're not over the top. They're not flashy, but they put in work and they do their jobs. So in this one right here, give me Bengals 28-21. Who they going to the Super Bowl?
Ooh, 7-point underdogs win by 7 points. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. One more segment to go before we get you out of here for the weekend.
Weather forecast overnight. This weather front passing through the region will start to move out, I would say, late at night. And the overnight temperature by morning, upper 20s and low 30s. You'll feel colder with that northwest wind up to 20. Northwest wind up to 20 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny, 45 to 50 only. 55 to 60 Sunday, mostly sunny. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, best little lumber yard in Panama City and Youngstown. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for college basketball. Tomorrow, it's the Big 12 SEC Challenge. First, the number 1 ranked Auburn Tigers welcome Oklahoma into the jungle. Coverage starts at 12:30, tip-off at 1, followed by Baylor versus Alabama. College basketball lives here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
In 22, the thing to do is reboot the whole family at That Boot Store. With name brand Western wear for the smallest to the largest Wrangler is available at That Boot Store. Need durable name brand Carhartt work clothes at a price you can afford? Stop by That Boot Store. Next to Billboard Kia on 15th Street. Open Tuesday through Thursday 9 to 5, Friday and Saturday 9 to 5:30. Remember Joe's motto, always keep Jesus in your new year.
Offered Tire and Service Center on Tyndall Parkway in Callaway is your authorized Goodyear and Michelin dealer.
Looking for ways to save at the pump? Ask about Offer's fuel induction service that can improve gas mileage and engine performance, cleaning any buildup that forms inside your engine parts at Offered Tire and Service Center. Their latest technology to clean up the entire system, not just the gas tank.
Offered Tire and Service Center on Tyndall Parkway in Callaway. Locally owned for the past 35 years and worth the drive from anywhere.
For the best donuts in the area, the locals will tell you, Dandy Donuts and Deli. The donuts are amazing, but the breakfast and lunch choices are super. Cheese grits for breakfast are a tradition at Dandy Donuts and Deli. Try the spicy chicken for lunch. So, for classic donuts, biscuits, burgers, and the best apple fritters in the area, it's Dandy Donuts and Deli. Same location since 1985. 1147 Harrison Avenue, across from Bay High School.
When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play. David Hayes. Old school.
Very exciting.
And Boston Tim.
Good information.
Live and local inside the Rib Crib Radio Room. The Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're tuned in to the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with AG and Corey. What a fun Fan Friday. This has been Super Bowl 56. Keep it tuned in here. We're your exclusive headquarters for Super Bowl 56, and you can listen live in ultra-high fidelity. Big shout-out to our sponsors. That's Diego's Burrito Factory, Bill Bird Kia, Best Way Portable Buildings, Reliable Hydraulic, and Mid-South Lumber. We appreciate all of you. Mosley and Arnold tonight, some girls soccer for the 5A2 District Championship match. The winner gets a guaranteed state playoff berth and starts those playoffs at the house. The loser, given the rankings both teams have in their region, pretty much guaranteed a state berth as well. Both teams made it through their district semis. Arnold beat Rickards 8-0. That puts them with a record of 12-4. Mosley taking down Choctaw 7-0. So now they're 13-3. They're going to be playing tonight at 7 at Gavlack Stadium. Go out there and support Arnold and Mosley on their quest for a state championship. If you remember last year, Arnold finished runner-up in their state championship game. Last night in the 2A1 district semifinals, Port St. Joe took down Franklin 9-1. That's girls high school soccer. And girls high school basketball, Bethlehem over Vernon 37-26. North Bay Haven over Walton 43-40. Paxton takes down Destin 52-16. Bay takes down Port St. Joe 82-62. Monroe over Alta 60-29. Holmes with a win over Chipley 56-34. South Walton loses to Fort Walton Beach 61-51. And Rutherford takes down their county rival in Arnold 64-49. Boys high school basketball, South Walton over Arnold 68-50. Holmes over Freeport 55-45. Bethlehem gets the best of Vernon 59-44. Mosley takes down Mariana 57-39. North Bay Haven, I'm telling you, I've been bragging on these guys all year long. They beat Walton 79-67. Alta blows out Wakulla 72-37. Bozeman over Rocky Bayou in a close one 68-53. Malone takes down Sneed 63-41. Paxton over Destin 73-45. And Poplar Springs by 20 points over Ponce de Leon 69-49. We'll get you to Paul Feinbaum here in a few minutes, but first let's make our picks for the NFC Championship.
Well done, by the way.
Woo! I didn't know. I didn't know
that paper is burning in his hand.
I didn't know if we was going to get it done. All right, so the Rams at SoFi Stadium, which they're worried about being more 49er fans.
There was last time.
There was last time, and they tried to do what the Titans did and make that 24-hour transfer rule.
How'd that work out?
It didn't work. Well, it definitely didn't work out for the Titans, and it's not working out for the Rams because they're really expecting more 49er fans in the building. You got to do something about that when it comes to the playoffs as far as engaging your fans to want to be there. But let's just pick the game. Rams, 49ers. I've got the Rams winning this one, and I hate to say this. I want it to be a close game. I got the Rams 31-20 as much, but I'm cool with either team that wins here, but the Rams 31-20.
Yeah, I want to see the Niners just because I want the Bengals to play the Niners for some revenge for the two previous Super Bowls. However, I think the Rams are going to be too much for them. I know it's tough to beat a team 3 times, so give me Rams 31-18.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go with the 49ers, but I think it's going to be a very defensive game.
I want that.
Very defensive heavy, and I think it's going to probably be low scoring, probably boring, even though they have all that offensive power. Let's go 17-10.
Ooh, 17-10.
Special teams will be big in that one.
All right, so my Super Bowl would be Chiefs-Rams, which would make that would make Kyle Albritton very happy because he's been calling that all season. Corey would have the Chiefs-49ers, which is my 4th-ranked Super Bowl because we just saw it a couple years ago. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Could be a great game. No doubt about it. That's just the one I least want to see. And then Bengals-Rams is my favorite Super Bowl, so I'm really pulling for the results of Adam to come out correctly. Let's get to an offensive X factor for the San Francisco 49ers. Can it be anyone other than Deebo Samuel? Because that's the one I'm going with. Corey, what about you?
I got Jimmy G.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to play good.
Yeah.
He's got to play good.
I think Kittle needs to have a presence in this game. He needs to be known because he wasn't in Green Bay.
He really wasn't, except for that one catch where they got
catch.
what was that, like their first down of the game on for a third down conversion or whatever?
Yeah, he's got to be big.
Wow. All right, so to the defensive side of the ball, Adam, where are you at with this one?
Bosa. I mean, if that 4-man front is going to do anything against the Rams, I mean, Stafford has been known to turn it over under pressure, and look for Bosa to have a big game if the Niners are going to win.
All right. What do you got, Corey?
I put Josh Norman down. He's going to have to cover somebody, and I hope he ties his shoes up tight.
That's a good one. Let me go with the linebacker and Fred Warner. Y'all have been on the defensive back kick. I've been on the linebacker pick here, so let's go that way. Let's go to the last one here, the Los Angeles Rams. Adam, offensive X factor for the Rams.
It's got to be Stafford.
Yeah.
Just not turn the ball over, hand the ball off, catch some errant snaps if need be, and just keep the ball on the field.
What do you got, Corey?
You know, I put Cam Akers down, but I'm going to switch it last minute. I'm going to go Higbee. I think he's going to have to work the middle and try to figure something out for the Rams.
All right. Offensive X factor for me for the Rams is going to be OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. Yep. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball.
Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey for you.
Covering Deebo.
I was going to say whoever's not named Jalen Ramsey. Because they're going to have to step up and cover somebody.
I love it. Eric Weddle could be, but I'm going to go with the main man of the show. Actually, the third one, Leonard Floyd. We're out of here. We'll be back Monday at 4 o'clock. Coach James Hale back Monday, 7 a.m.
ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for Super Bowl 56.
40-yard catch and run.
Sunday, February 13th, we'll bring you the game live with a rich audio experience that puts you right in the stands.
Super Bowl 56 is sponsored locally